And I'm feeling low.
Hello, my lemon slices, and welcome back to the Lemonade Stand, or welcome if you are new. My name is Brianna. I'm a certified personal trainer, a big, huge biology nerd, and a registered dietitian to be. We're assembled here today to talk about an interesting and thought-provoking topic in the space of the health and wellness industry specific to multi-level marketing companies. The role, if any, that these companies play in the development of ED or DE tendencies, which I'm abbreviating right now because it's right in the beginning of the video and I don't want to get demonetized. Before we proceed, if you love science-based health, wellness, and fitness education with some lulz and some dry sarcasm along the way, hit that subscribe button and join the Lemonade Stand. I would seriously love to have you here. Without any further chit-chat, let's make lemonade. If you have not yet gathered it from the title and thumbnail of this video will be heavy in the discussion of eating disorders and disordered eating behavior. If that's something that's upsetting to you, maybe you skip this one. I totally understand. Otherwise, if you are down to clown and talk terrible things, let's dive in. Alrighty, so before I start running my mouth, I wanted to take the time to introduce our guest. Some of you may actually be familiar with her. Her name is Aimee. She is on Instagram and YouTube, and she makes a lot of anti-MLM related content. Her content revolves primarily around Beachbody because that's the MLM that she spent about 2 years in. Aimee's situation is unique because she was not in just one health and wellness multi-level marketing company. She was actually in two. She was in Beachbody and she was in Pruvit. She is going to be discussing her experiences in both. She spent more time in Beachbody, so our discussion is going to be heavy about Beachbody. However, she will spend time talking about her experiences in both. Thank you to Aimee right now for volunteering her time and sharing her experiences with us. And yeah, let's now meet our guest.
So my name's Aimee. I am a wife and mom. I have 5 kids, range in age from almost 19 to 8. And yeah, just living life. I am a serial dieter, started at a very young age and just continued to try and really kind of screw my body up in so many ways.
How old were you when you kind of started those habits?
I'll have to look. I probably started when I was in 6th or 7th grade, because I remember there was a day like I was feeling myself. I thought I looked so good. I was wearing like a white denim skirt, and I don't remember what shirt, and a boy called me Thunder Thighs.
What?
And it like killed me. And so then 14-year-old me, I had older siblings who were talking about, I'll only date a girl if her waist fits in here. Have you ever heard that?
No.
And then I was in a video that I did. I wrote in my journal when I was 14 about something that a family member said about do you really need that piece of cake?
Oh my goodness.
And so, I try to be much more aware of what I say, especially to my kids, because you say these things just in passing. And I don't think that the person who said that to me, the family member, I don't think they meant any harm to me.
Yeah.
They probably thought they were trying to help me, but it absolutely destroyed 14-year-old me, who said, then I'm just not going to eat anything. Or, so seeing these things come up when you're so young, and it just gets reinforced by everyone and by society.
And like you said, when people your family member who made that comment, they probably didn't mean any harm by it. And most people, I feel like most of the time people don't mean any harm by it, but you don't know what somebody has been going through leading up to that. If you have a history of body image issues and disordered eating patterns and stuff, someone just saying that to you, oh, do you really need another slice of cake? That can ruin your whole month.
Oh yeah. And it kind of started up a pattern of binging, purging, all of that when I was in high school. And it's hard because even at that age, I had a friend who was anorexic and she had to be hospitalized and for treatment and stuff. And it was but there was a part of me that was I'm jealous. She did, she was able to lose weight.
Oh.
Why can't I lose weight? And maybe I can do it, but I can control it. And just these ways of thinking that I can look back now and be like, oh my God, I just want to give my younger self a big hug. And, because of the damage and the lasting damage that it does.
Yeah.
And not just mentally, physically. Like I killed myself physically and ruined my metabolism, like all of the things.
So what exactly constitutes a company, specifically a multi-level marketing company, to be health and wellness is pretty subjective, I think. But for the sake of this video, I've kind of come up with my own definition. I would consider a company a health and wellness related to be companies that distribute products that they claim promote health and wellness, including but not limited to dietary supplements such as vitamins, companies that are popular for distributing certain diets that are well known to be restrictive and usually induce weight loss, companies where weight loss is a common goal and often put up on a pedestal, but also with the strong implication that that goal can only be achieved through the use of their products and services. And don't forget, you also have to become a distributor too. In my opinion, multi-level marketing companies that fit that description are companies like Avon, Beachbody, Herbalife, Juice Plus, Isogenics, Optavia. Most of these companies distribute some type of dietary supplement, and they all really tend to push the healthy and clean lifestyle through the use of their products.
So when does Beachbody come in? When did you start and why did you decide to?
So when I was, I did not start staying home until I had my fourth baby. And there was a girl at work who had the Turbo Jam DVDs. Okay. And I borrowed them and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I would do Turbo Jam all the time. And then I bought the Chalene Extreme videos and then they sat on my shelf. After I had my fifth baby, it was awful. Like we had moved away from my family, from all family. We didn't have any family. I was now staying home with 5 kids. It was a bad pregnancy. It was a bad delivery. And I was the heaviest I'd ever been and just felt awful. And I decided, I was like, no, I know that I really enjoyed this exercise. So I'm going to do Turbo Jam. So I started doing Turbo Jam, and then I was probably listening to a podcast or something. And I was like, no, I shouldn't be doing all this cardio. I need to do strength training. Because Turbo Jam, they have you're not doing strength training. So I started Chalene Extreme and loved it. And it had a meal plan with it. And I lost probably 50 pounds, 60 pounds.
Wow. Over how long?
About a 5-month time frame, maybe. And I was sharing stuff on social media, just oh my gosh, if you guys haven't tried this program, it's awesome. And I had a friend reach out to me and, oh, you're doing this for free when you could be making money by sharing what you're doing.
I was about to ask, at that point, were you a consultant yet? So you were not at that point a consultant yet.
Mm-mm. I didn't even know it was a thing. And so I was honestly the easiest recruit she's ever had. I was like, serious? Because I love this. And it obviously is working for me. Absolutely. I'll add in Shakeology and start 21 Day Fix.
Beachbody is the only one that takes it a step further, I think, by incorporating physical fitness into things as well. Sidebar, I've always thought Beachbody was genius for that, but evil genius though. A lot of people want to work out, but can't or don't want to go to a gym. So what did Beachbody do? They solved that problem and offered workouts that people could participate in alongside the use of their supplements.
I think that's why for me, Beachbody is kind of one of the more insidious ones, because they're getting you financially, physically, it's impacting you a whole lot, mentally, emotionally, and I was just drained all the time.
I think my opinions on more recent Beachbody fitness programs are fairly obvious, but I have actually gone on record as saying that I really believe that older Beachbody programs were actually not that bad, in my opinion. I think it's only in recent years that the workouts have gotten just more and more ridiculous, and I attribute that to the fact that these super trainers are just running out of ideas and have to throw together something, or else they might feel the wrath of Big Daddy Carl. That's just a theory, okay? That's a theory. Another common theme among these companies is alpha left. She doesn't like hearing about diet culture. Another theme that's really common among these companies is like that grind mindset when it comes to your health and physical fitness. Hashtag no excuses. Hashtag team no days off. And if you slip up and go off plan, then suddenly you're doing it wrong. And now you have to do 100 burpees to work off that cookie you ate.
There was no time freedom. None. I would say the other part physically is the whole like get up at 4. So I would get up at 4, read personal development because that's part of your vital behaviors, drink my Energize, do my workout, maybe work my business a little bit, all before my kids got up at like 6. And then get them ready, get them out the door. Then I was teaching classes. Then I was, and I still had, my son was only like 1 and 2.
Oh.
And so I still had like some little kids at home and some older ones going to school, and juggling all of this, trying to make sales, trying to be on Zoom calls, and it was like, well, then I'll have to work it once they go to bed.
Yeah.
So then they would go to bed at 8. I'd be up till 10 or 11 and have to be up at 4. A lot of it was self-inflicted. Beachbody didn't make me teach 3 hours a day.
Well, no, they didn't, but you were in that environment where you were kind of being encouraged to, though. So no, a lot of them might hear you say that and, in defense of Beachbody, well, Beachbody didn't make you do that. Well, no, it didn't hold a gun to your head and make you do it. But the environment that you were in, that was really encouraged, and posting your before and after pictures and taking all your supplements and working out for 3 hours a day.
Yeah. And it's funny because I see all these coaches now and they'll post their workout. Like, for example, when they did job 1, because I think it was 20 minutes, I would say at least 90% of the coaches that I saw would add on another workout. Because I only worked out 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so that was normal. It was normal to add more, or to say, it's my rest day, but I really feel like working out. So I'm going to just do whatever workout and not take rest days.
Wow. Do you think that you over-exercised?
Yeah. I had to have, so I now have had 3 surgeries on my left knee and 2 on my right. I have not been able to exercise since February, which even includes, in February, my left knee started really hurting, and I went in and I had more meniscal tears. The cartilage was even more worn. And so they went in and did a scope, but it didn't heal from the scope because it's just so inflamed. It's done. It's had it. And so now I'm doing, I'm trying anything I can to not do a knee replacement yet. I will have to get both knees replaced. But the hope is that I can hold off for a couple years.
I have Oreos here for moral support. These are the birthday cake ones. There's a lot to be said about this 24/7 grind mindset. I think at its core, it's not a terrible thing. Before all the social media shows up and kind of muddies it up and ruins it, I don't think it's a bad thing. I believe in working hard to do your best and achieve your goals, because why wouldn't you? You should do your best. But I also believe in lounging on the couch and watching true crime documentaries and going to the spa sometimes. I think that because of social media, this never stop grind mindset, it's already not really healthy because it almost condemns people just wanting to take a break. But when it enters the conversation of health, wellness, and fitness, it can get especially dangerous because it can lead people to become so critical of themselves for skipping one workout or eating 2 little cookies that they start to develop very unhealthy habits and start hurting themselves in the pursuit of being healthy and fit. You guys, obviously, if you have specific goals, work for them. I don't believe in pandering to people and cutting them so much slack that they don't perform and don't challenge themselves. But if you're not feeling well, or if you don't have the energy to work out that day, then don't work out. It's fine. If you have a cookie, who the hell cares? It's a cookie. You're not going to die from eating a cookie. Probably. In this context, I'm talking about the extremes. I want you guys to keep that in mind.
At that time, 21 Day Fix was the program everyone was doing because of this stupid meal plan, right? they hadn't moved it to Ultimate Portion Fix yet. So you bought 21 Day Fix to get the Portion Fix meal plan in addition to the workouts.
Okay.
And so when I got it, it was like, oh man, like this is going to make eating so much easier. Because, I just had these little containers and, blah, blah, blah. And what I didn't realize was how much it was reducing my calories even more. And so I kind of started in a bit of a, like, I would follow it really well and then lose my mind and have a binge. And I kept losing, and I did lose maybe another 20 pounds.
Wow.
But then I started just losing and gaining the same 5 pounds. I just kept I could not break this plateau. And I was told to do double workouts. So I tried that. No, that wasn't it. And then my husband was like, I had talked to my husband about, like, Turbo Jam was still my love. Mm-hmm. And he's like, why don't you teach it? Because you could get certified. So he found a certification near us, signed me up, and I became a Turbo Kick instructor.
Oh.
So when I got certified, my plan was that I was just going to teach it to, like, friends at church or whatever, but it somehow got out. I don't remember how. And I ended up teaching at the YMCA, and I ended up teaching like 2 classes a week. So not too bad. But then they came to me and they were like, we really want you to do a strength training class. Will you go get certified in P90X? Sure. So I got certified in P90X. At each of these trainings, most of them were coaches as well. They made sure that you knew in the training that when you taught a class, it did not count as your workout.
It doesn't
because you're there for your participants, not for you. So that doesn't count as your workout. And that's also what they would say all the time. Like, if you followed the master trainers who were like the celebrities, right, in the Beachbody Live world, and they all would talk about that all the time. When you teach, that is not your workout.
Okay.
And if you want to build your business, you better show yourself doing the workouts, right?
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is that I was doing my own workout and I was teaching sometimes up to 3 hours a day.
Oh my God.
And I am very much like a people pleaser. And so if anyone needed someone to take a class, absolutely, I'll take a class. I will do that. And I also then got certified in, let's see, so I was Turbo, then P90X, then I got certified in Size, and then certified in Country Heat, and certified in Core to Force, because the fitness aspect was really what I loved. And so, but I didn't understand balance and boundaries. And so I was working out an insane amount of time and not losing weight. And I actually started gaining weight, even though I'm, and I still wasn't necessarily understanding why. And my coach was zero help. She was like, well, you're already doing doubles. Maybe you should go to plan A and eat less calories.
Oh, plan A, what, like of the 21-day fix?
Yeah. And don't eat in plan B, go to a lower plan that would reduce my calories even more, because then that will help you lose weight.
Something that I want to say and make very clear is that everything that I'm going to talk about today is not exclusive to the multi-level marketing industry. All of the things that I'm going to bring up today are problems throughout the entire industry. The industry being the fitness industry and social media. The reason that I'm discussing these things, however, in the context of multi-level marketing is because I believe that when MLMs enter the chat, it changes things a lot. I believe that the cult-like environment that so many of these multi-level marketing companies foster, combined with all of like the shady and obsessive and unhealthy things we see in the fitness industry, it paves the way for a whole new type of diet culture that can really set people up for just having a terrible relationship with food and a horrible body image. All of that on top of the desire and desperation that so many people in MLMs have, like, just to make money, climb to the top, and just aspire to be like the people that they see thrust into the spotlight.
We all want what they promise and what they show, but it's not realistic. Like, I am not built like Autumn Calabrese. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to look like that. I'm never going, thank goodness, because oh my gosh, she worries me. And the trainers that they hold up as being like, this is what the goal is, are so unrealistic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, and then they were like, oh, we're going to have a new super trainer that we'll introduce. And it was another like this big blonde and it's like, no, have someone that looks like me teaching a class.
And then it's the things that these trainers are doing too, that a lot of people don't understand, kind of the dark side of the fitness industry, that these trainers are doing to look like that. The people that are often thrust into like the spotlight, like thrust into the people who you should be looking up to. Do you feel like it was almost like an idolization of like the people, and like specifically not just them for their like coach status, but like for how they look too, and like everybody wants to do the programs they did and take the supplements they take because everybody wants to look like them? Do you feel like there was a lot of that?
Yeah, I think, and that is another thing I think that sets Beachbody apart from other health and wellness MLMs, because you have two sets of celebrities. You have your superstar trainers, and then you have your top coaches.
Yeah.
So you have two groups, right? And I need to do a video on it. Most of the top coaches have been in the workout videos.
Yeah.
So they have celebrity status by proximity to these super trainers.
Yeah.
They're besties with these super trainers. And so now they have an automatic celebrity status over here. And that's who people want to sign up with. So when I was in Punta Cana with Beachbody, we were running a coach sneak peek. We were showing people like, this is what you could do as a coach. Like, we are in the Dominican Republic on a beach, but we're running Zoom calls.
Like working while you were there?
Oh yeah, the whole time. They also did workouts and meetings while we were in Punta Cana. You had to do the workout every day.
You had to do the workout every day.
I mean, it wasn't required.
But if you don't show up, they're going to be like, oh, Aimee didn't do the workout.
And, your whole team is going to show up and we're all going to work out in the same area.
Yeah. So, it's like you have to, it's an unspoken requirement.
Yeah.
And I bet they get very judgmental of you if you don't.
Yeah. Well, and you're giving up an opportunity, right? You're giving up an opportunity to work out with Autumn or, whatever. And then you can earn based on what your sales or whatever, you could earn a meet and greet with them. And so like, I did that because I sold a lot. So I got to meet Chris Downing, which he was awesome. I liked him. So Chris is like talking to me and he's like, how many kids do you have? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, my daughter loves you. And he gave me this huge bear hug. He's like, tell your daughter that that's for her. And like, he was just really cool. But then they would get mad at him because he was holding up the line. And then Autumn was next. And then Autumn's like, smile, done.
Oh, so you interacted with Autumn?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But that was it. Like, it was just smile. And then like, you didn't even talk to her?
No. And I had to hit a goal to get that.
Oh, to be able to talk to Autumn, to be able to exchange words with Autumn.
Get a picture. Are you kidding me? So the difference in the trainers that I've met is huge.
Really?
Like Chris Downing was super down to earth, and he left Beachbody because when his contract ran out, he's like, we don't have the same vision of what this should be. So he left. Autumn was just ornery, and like, you could tell she was super bothered to have to be standing in this line getting pictures taken with all these coaches.
Wow.
Sagi was also, he was okay. Yeah, he was fine. Tony Horton was amazing. And it feels as if like the old trainers, and when I talk to coaches that were were coaches a long time ago, the original trainers and the original concepts were good.
Yeah.
And then it has just morphed into this.
So if you're here and you can't stand the multi-level marketing business structure as much as I do, then you probably know and understand the cult-like mentality that runs rampant among these companies. I feel like that's kind of cliched to say, but I don't know what other word to use to describe it. It's true. Multi-level marketing companies are not called commercial cults for no reason.
The groupthink and the cult mentality and wanting this community. You know, I was a mom at home with 5 kids. Being able to get on a Zoom and have like adults that I could talk to. That's what I wanted. And I wanted to help people. And I think that is one of the things that bothers me the most, is that I truly believe these Beachbody coaches, the majority of them, want to help people.
Yeah.
And they get sucked in and don't realize
that, on top of the fact that, remember, most people are joining these companies to make money. How are they doing that? Through product sales and recruiting. Recruiting usually being the most lucrative option. But then how do you promote the company in order to make product sales and then recruit? Well, by being a product of the product, of course. That means constantly showing yourself using the products. And if you're in Beachbody, constantly showing yourself doing the workout.
And then you look back, I mean, I'm like, I apologize all the time. I'm like, I cannot believe the things that I did, that because it was just normal. It was just normalized.
As far as things that were normalized that now are not normal behavior, what in terms of like physical activity and nutrition and dietary habits, like something that you said before we started recording was you felt like you had to take Energize before every workout. Can you talk more about like that kind of stuff that was normalized?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, one of the vital behaviors, they have coached vital behaviors every day. And one of them is be a product of the product. That puts a lot of pressure on you to show up and to show transformations, which is why these coaches have transformation posts for every single program. I didn't want a before and after from every program. I just wanted a continual, I feel great. Right. I didn't want to have a before and after, but you kind of have to sell the product, right? So I would say the physical activity wise, whatever program comes out, that's the one you do.
And then you have to have a before and after photo for it too.
Right. Which is not a good idea, because there are some programs that people should not be doing at all, and some that are very advanced. But you would sell it. You would sell it because that's what you were pushing at the time. I remember there was a program, Hammer and Chisel. I hated that program like with my whole being. And I tried my hardest to do it. And I think I made it like 3 weeks or something. And I was like, I can't do this. I hate both of these trainers. And my husband was shocked. He's like, if you don't like what you're doing, then don't do it. Don't like,
right.
I don't understand why is this complicated? And it's like, because I sold this and I had people join me to do this. And now I don't want to do this. And I felt like I had to. And then when Pruvit, the crap they pull with product, like you always have to purchase. It's the same thing. It is the same thing. You have to be a product of the product. Well, guess what? They release new flavors all the time. You have to purchase them to try them, to sell them.
Yeah.
And so if it's it was like $100, I think was the coach price for a box of 20 ketones.
Like 20, the powdered packets?
Uh-huh.
21 serving packet was like about $100. Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm. And they would be dropping new flavors multiple times a month sometimes. So, and then you'd have one that you fell in love with and you're like, oh man, it's a limited edition, so I better buy all of it and stock up. And I'm selling 10-day trials, so I better build a stock. So as opposed to Beachbody, I was sending out tons of trial packs.
Oh.
And so you had to keep inventory on hand. With Pruvit. But then my breaking point was when they introduced their energy drink, and it's called Keto Up.
Okay.
And I mean, and so I'm drinking an Alani, right? It's about the same size, probably as an Alani. And it was, again, I think it was around $100 for a 12 pack of soda. But yeah, it was the soda. It was the Keto Up. And when they started selling a 12 pack of Keto Up for over $100, I'm like, I'm like, no, you were doing a straight up money grab at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Because really, if you think about it, they say the Pruvit people, they say that ketones give you energy. So why do you guys now need an energy drink? I thought ketones were supposed to give you energy, which, by the way, from like a biological standpoint, makes no sense, because that's not what ketone bodies are for, like physiologically. So that's just another incorrect claim. And then I bet they probably put ketones in the energy drink as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
A key characteristic of a group of people or organization being a cult is putting certain people very high up on a pedestal. You do not question what the fearless leader says. They are always right, and they are the person that everyone should aspire to be like. Also, when you're in a cult, you do what everyone else does because you all have the same goal. You all collectively do what you have to do to achieve that goal. Now, all of this combined with the constant selling of a healthy and fit lifestyle can be a recipe for disaster for a lot of people. The environment that's sometimes fostered in these health and wellness multi-level marketing companies can lead people toward unhealthy behavior to achieve what they perceive to be optimal health. So another common theme in multi-level marketing companies of this variety is how they tend to manipulate your thoughts around your body and your attitudes toward food. For example, having meticulous and specific rituals around food that people in the company feel like they have to do, like encouraging people to eat food out of color-coded containers, or not eating without taking a certain dietary supplement like before or after the meal, feeling like you have to take a certain supplement or else you won't be healthy. I think this is getting into the territory of that awful diet culture, but it's relevant. Because you're a consultant in the company, you might feel like you have to do these things to be healthy because everyone else is, and that's just what you all do. I love to listen to MLM horror stories. I've listened to quite a few of people who were formerly Beachbody consultants, and even people who were just not even consultants, but just like wanted to be like in a challenge group or something. They are told that they have to use Shakeology, and if they don't use Shakeology or discontinue the use of Shakeology, they are reprimanded or kicked out entirely of the challenge group. That's another thing that's kind of indicative of that cult-like behavior of, oh, you're not doing exactly what we do. Bye. You're no longer welcome here. To those of us who are healthy, level-headed individuals, we hear that and we think, well, what's the big deal? It's just a supplement. Who cares if I don't want to take the same supplement as you are? That's like kicking someone out of your house because they're like eating a different food than you are. But you have to remember the influence that people deep in this MLM culture have being lorded over them. They worship this product and they think that it's some kind of holy grail because that's what they've been made to believe. Something else that's very common but also unspoken is that weight loss is always put up on a pedestal. They almost look down on people who they perceive to be like fat and out of shape, almost like they have a contempt for them.
Now, when you were in the throes of all this, like being influenced by all of this, do you feel like there was very much us versus them? Like, I have to take my supplements. We're all doing these workouts, and oh, you guys are a bunch of losers, lame, lazy people because you're not doing that. Do you ever feel like you you kind of developed a little bit of a I'm so superior because I do these things attitude?
Yeah. Every conversation was, I could help them. They you unintentionally become a predator.
Mm.
So that's where it's been hard to come to that realization that I was both a victim and a perpetrator. But you get to the point where every single interaction is, would this person make a good coach? Would they make a good customer? And that's how you start evaluating all of your interactions.
Wow.
And with the amount of time that you're spending on Zoom calls, on different things with your team, you start to not associate as much with people who are not in the business because you're doing so much with your team. That, it's heartbreaking when you quit because you immediately lose your entire community. Like you just get blocked.
Like they block you on social media, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, we were besties yesterday. And then you found out I was not going to be a coach anymore. And now I can't even find you.
Because they blocked you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not one of them anymore.
Yeah. So you have to realize that like everything is actually transactional, but they make it seem like you're a family, right?
So all that stuff I just said is terrible, but like what happens after all that? What happens when all of that stuff has taken effect? So eventually all of this culminates into being in this bizarre headspace of having contempt for people who don't take the same supplements as you, who don't exercise every single day like you do, who don't use essential oils for every single thing like you do. They start to look down on people who are not exactly like them and on people who don't fit their specific version of health. Some of them even develop a superiority complex, which we see quite a bit. That's how sometimes somebody can get to a point of being in a multi-level marketing company like Beachbody and having a full-blown eating disorder. But instead of getting the help that they need, everyone is telling them how amazing they look and how great they look because that's just what you do there. Because of the environment and echo chamber that they all put themselves in, they see nothing wrong with this behavior. They start to look at people who aren't super skinny and fit like they are as, forgive me, but like inferior fatties.
I actually have OCD and I didn't know that.
Like diagnosed?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I thought OCD was just like hand washing, touching the doorknob so many times, that kind of thing. There are actually a lot of different forms of OCD. And one of them that I have is called scrupulosity. And scrupulosity is that you're worried that you're never going to be good enough or moral enough, or you want to help other people, oftentimes to the detriment of yourself, because you want to make sure that everyone else is okay.
Wow.
And that played into it.
I bet that combined with just the obsessive nature of Beachbody culture was just a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, same thing, if you have ADHD and you get hyperfixated, like all of these different things that they prey on. And then they do it specifically and say, when they make these medical claims that the coaches don't know, they don't know that they can't say them, but they're like, oh my gosh, my ADHD has been so much better since I started taking this.
No, it hasn't. Shut up.
Right. And so if someone has that, they're like, well, maybe it'll work. I'll try it, because you want to try anything that may work. You get desperate.
Yeah. Yeah. And they exploit that in people.
When I left, it was when 80-Day Obsession was coming out. And the word obsession threw me. Because I'm like, why would you call something that? And then I saw the meal plan and I knew I was getting disillusioned enough that I could look at that meal plan and I knew that would break me. Like, as far as I already had horribly disordered eating patterns, but now you're telling me to set a timer on my phone for every 2 hours to remind me to eat and what I need to eat.
That was part of the 80-Day Obsession meal plan.
Oh yeah. You haven't seen that? It's timed nutrition.
Timed nutrition. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She used the portion fixed containers, but she told you which containers to eat at which time. Mm-hmm. And so you had to eat this meal. See, this is what killed me, because it's like, well, you need to eat this meal before you do your workout. Mm-hmm. And you have to eat it 45 minutes before the workout or whatever, so you don't get sick. Well, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. to work out. So now you're telling me I have to get up at 3:30 to eat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I can't, no. And then, and people were super proud, and they would post pictures, screenshots of all of their alarms set throughout the day. I'm like, I am already obsessed with food enough.
Yeah.
Now, like, I just knew, I'm like, I can't do this. And there are a lot of friends that I have talked to that kind of pushed them further into disordered eating and had to go to counseling.
Oh my God. Like,
because
you did Beachbody?
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times a pissed off Beachbody consultant in my videos where I am criticizing and like reacting to Beachbody workouts. I can't tell you how many times they've gotten triggered and jumped in my comment section and like said something. They say this video something, by the way, you're fat or something like that. For them, it always comes down to them attacking my body and saying that I'm fat. I don't have body image issues, so it doesn't bother me, but it's something that I take notice of because I just think it's interesting. I personally would not use the word skinny to describe my body. I have fat and I have muscle, and I'm perfectly okay with my body. I personally like being strong and thick and having muscle. Sometimes when I get those comments from people, I'll post them to my story and we'll all have a laugh about it. But I always get responses from a lot of you guys that are like, I don't understand how somebody can like look at you and think that you're fat. But you have to think about who I'm being compared to. When it's the norm to look up to people who are like 8% body fat, then yeah, I probably look like a beluga whale to them. And then what eventually happens? This eventually will lead to disordered eating or a full-blown eating disorder. But again, for many of them, they don't even realize it because this behavior has been normalized. The worst victims of all of this, in my opinion, are the people who walk in desperate to lose weight and just desperate for change. They're vulnerable because they have poor body image and they're desperate to lose weight. They will do anything just to lose some weight. This further turns into the environment where people are obsessed with not only weight loss, but also just like being healthy or what they perceive to be healthy. I don't believe that the pursuit of these things, the pursuit of weight loss, is not inherently bad. In my opinion, it's not inherently bad. Everybody has opinions on this, and this is my opinion. And I've voiced it before on my channel. But when you add the desire for weight loss to all of the other things I just said, that's when it becomes a recipe for disaster. Again, I don't believe intentional weight loss is a bad thing. I'm in school to be a dietitian and I want to work in bariatric care, and I also want to become a certified diabetes educator at some point. I think watching this video will give you a really good idea of my opinions and my position on this. With my content, I'm trying to promote balance here, but the two extremes with this are, on this side, you have all intentional weight loss is bad. Nobody should do it because it's bad for you and you're going to fail and regain all the weight. So don't even try it. You should just eat everything you want, whatever you want, however much you want, because it's fine and your health is fine and it's all genetics anyway. And then on this side, you have Autumn Calabrese, Jillian Michaels, detox teas, 21-day fixes, 5-day cleanses, and doing burpees to work off a cookie you ate. I am in the middle of that. I think both of these extremes are completely up. Neither of them promote balance. I think the problem that tends to happen is that people tip the scale too far to one side or the other, and I think that's where the problem lies.
Since you officially left multi-level marketing, the industry between Beachbody and Pruvit, how do you feel like your relationship with food and exercise in your body has been affected?
I'm still healing it on a huge level. I will notice, I've been reading a ton of what is intuitive eating? What is this? Because one of the Beachbody coaches has a class for that.
Oh yeah, Ashley.
Oh, she's a mess. Anyway, man, anyway. But it's like, okay, what is real? And you don't know anymore. And after living through the 90s where Snackwells and, you would have cookies that, oh, this is a cookie. It tastes like cardboard and I need to eat the whole box and I'm still going to eat Oreos afterwards because they're nasty.
Yeah.
And low fat everything. And so you don't know what's true anymore because everyone has a different story. So what's true?
Yeah.
And trying to just listen to myself, and it's it's still something I fight all the time. You know, oh, just don't eat breakfast until 11, and you're going to eat between 11 and 7, and all of these rules. Because for me, having someone, I will do what you tell me to do. Like give me a plan and I'll follow it. Like, I'm going to rock that plan. But to have to figure out my own body has been really hard because no one's taught me how to do that.
Yeah.
And so when you get a thought, I have to like pause and think, okay, wait, is this dieting Aimee talking, or is this normal wanting to live my life Aimee? And, you know, and then there's part of you that's like, you know, I do want to lose weight. I do want to do these things. And it's hard when you get into this space of anti-MLM and trying not to follow diet culture, because then it's like, wait, so I can't want to lose weight, but I want to lose weight, but I shouldn't. And for me, like, it will help my knees if I'm at a lower weight. It's less pressure on my knees. So how do I do that, but still follow what I'm supposed to do with intuitive eating? Like, it is so messed up. And there's so many loud voices out there that all say something different, and trying to figure out what works for you. And you don't trust yourself. Beachbody taught me not to trust myself. Mm-hmm. They gave me lists. They gave me how much to eat. They told me I could have 10 carrots. They told me, you know, I could have 10 asparagus spears as a serving, but don't eat more. Well, what if I really like it and I want to eat it?
Yeah.
Well, then that, like, you're not following the plan then. And so, like, just the complete mind games that all of this has played, and now trying to be like, well, I want a cookie. Okay, go have a cookie. And it's like, hold on, we're not supposed to eat cookies, you know? And I'm like, I'm a grown ass woman. I can eat a cookie if I want a cookie.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to come? Like, why should I have to come online and confess that I didn't follow the plan this weekend and that I'm getting back on track? And if you want to join me, come on in.
So if you eventually get to a point where you're like our guest Aimee and you kind of realize, holy shit, this is bad. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. You realize you're in it. And then there's also the other situation. If you're somebody on the outside looking in on somebody who's in this situation, you see this unhealthy behavior that they've developed. I have personally never had an eating disorder. In my past, when I was in my phase of being a wannabe fitness influencer, I did things that I know now fit the bill for disordered eating patterns. I also used to have that terribly judgmental mindset that we see in a lot of prominent figures in social media, where just like looking down on people who aren't like as fit as you, who don't constantly work out all the time. I think about it now and the superiority complex I used to have. God, I'm so ashamed of myself. I'm so happy I've outgrown that bullshit mindset, and I'm just so happy I've moved on from that phase of my life, honestly. And luckily, those disordered eating habits never got to a dangerous point for me, and I kind of moved on from them and outgrew them before things got out of hand. But a lot of people are not so lucky. Not only do they get sucked in, but then they're surrounded by people who are telling them, oh, you look amazing, you look great, congratulations on your weight loss. Meanwhile, they haven't eaten carbs in 3 months, and they cried this morning because when they stepped on the scale, they were 2 pounds heavier than they were yesterday. I already said this, but the problem is that a lot of people in this industry and in this space don't realize that these are issues. And how can they get out of this problem and get out of the state they're in if they don't even realize that there's a problem? Everyone is drinking their shakes every day. Everyone is working out all the time. Oh, you gained 5 pounds? Time to do another program or a 5-day cleanse. Don't forget to take a before and after picture though, so you can be a product of the product, because everyone needs to know how much of a fatty you were before you lost those 5 pounds. It's like a toxic ass Twilight Zone. I think the best thing that we can do is provide information and show support while also not enabling people.
Can I get your closing thoughts? Like how are you, where are you at now feeling since finally leaving like that beach, the environment, a message that you would give to somebody who's in that environment, but maybe doesn't feel right about certain things? What would you say?
I would say to truly listen to your intuition, truly listen to that voice. It is not bad to start researching at any point. I did not know there was an income disclosure. I was never given that information. I was never given one. I was holding out hope that this was going to happen, not realizing that very rarely does it ever happen. And once I started peeling back layers in every aspect, the financial, the diet, the exercise, once I started actually looking at resources other than what the company provided, I started to have my eyes opened. And if you are not in it yet, do that research before. If you are joining it to start a business, then you better research the comp plan, and you better research how people actually get paid and the income disclosure. If you are wanting to get super fit, do some research into what that takes, and then compare that to the programs. Because once you're there, that's all you see, and you believe it. And so my biggest thing is, if they're telling you not to research or that you don't need anything else, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
If they don't want you to look at anything outside of Beachbody, that's a red flag. And that it's not your fault. It is not your fault. It was not my fault that I was gaining and losing and gaining and losing. And it was because of the lack of knowledge and experience from me, but I thought I knew what I was doing, from the entire upline. Like, and do some of them know what they're doing? Sure, but you can't access them.
You have to earn your time.
You have to earn the time. Yeah. You know, so the guilt that I felt over not being a product of the product has been was one of the things that I was most upset about, I think, when I got out. Once I realized that I don't know that it's possible to be a product of the product. They set you up for disordered eating patterns, and these are all my opinions, but they set you up for a disordered eating pattern that makes it so that you cannot be successful in any of your goals. And then they make you feel like it's your fault for not hitting it.
And how you have to be a product of the product for every single program. But I mean, like,
yep. And again, it's, you know, we'll research, what is this product, this program, what is the main goal? You know, Fire and Flow is to, like, the crazy cardio, and then more of like stretching and lengthening. Well, I didn't want that. I want to be able to lift heavy crap. Fire and Flow is not going to do that for me. But I'm losing time in following this program and not getting what I want.
It's always a work in progress for you, especially kind of how you kind of already had a lifetime of disordered habits and an unhealthy relationship with food in your body. And I'm sure Beachbody obviously exacerbated that stuff for you.
Yeah.
But do you think overall you're working toward health and like just being better and just learning to be okay with the fact that you might not be able to exercise the way that you really want to, and it's okay to have a cookie and some Starbucks?
Yeah, I'm getting there. You know, I told my husband, I said, you know, it's amazing to me that my goal now is to be able to take my dog on a walk. That's what I want to do. I don't have to, you know, lift heavy weights right now. It's like, no, I want to enjoy taking my puppy on a walk. And that does count. You know, the amount of times that I told him that my workout didn't count, he's like, you're pouring sweat, that counts.
Right.
And so trying to realize, because there was a lot wrapped around, especially when you teach group fitness. Like, I loved teaching group fitness.
I've done it before too. I love it too. It's fun.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And to realize, like, I can't do that anymore, was heartbreaking for me. And so trying to wrap my head around some of those things has still been hard, because that's been like recent, that because I was still teaching up until January probably.
Oh, wow.
And then everything kind of started going downhill in February. And so that's when I quit teaching. And I've noticed a lot more about my own relationship with food and being okay with it. And also being aware of the messaging that I maybe was giving my kids that I didn't want to give for years, and trying to rectify that in some ways. So, yeah, because I've got daughters, and that I, see one of them does struggle with body image issues, and it's like, oh my gosh, how can I help her not go down the same path?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. The work in progress.
Yeah. But I think showing them and being very honest, I've been very open and honest with them, and like the things that are a struggle or, whatever, and making sure to be like, hey, what sounds good? Like, let's get pizza. Sweet. I would love a pizza, but let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Where before I'd be like, well, I can only order from Blaze because they have a keto pizza. So we have to make sure and go there. Mm-hmm. And it's those things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize the imaging that I was projecting every single day without intention. I mean, it's like we talked about before. I didn't mean to imply those things, but that goes in.
Yeah. And your children, they pick up on that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they would ask me, hey, Mom, can you eat this? And I would try to say, hey, I can eat anything I want, but I'm choosing to eat blah, blah, blah. It's kind of I'm saying the right things, but they know, like, no, you really can't. Because I know you would want an Oreo with peanut butter on it. Like, you do. Because that's Oreos with peanut butter on it is like, but I would say, no, I don't want one of those, or I'm choosing not to eat that. And they're like, liar.
Really, it was you like can't, because then you'd be doing the program wrong.
Mm-hmm. And then I would feel guilty, and I would feel like I had to confess on social media that I wasn't following the program, but I'm going to get back on. I mean, even this morning, it happened this morning from Autumn. Yesterday she went and she showed pictures of her. She didn't show her eating it, but she had a Dodger dog that she was holding, and she was so excited because she went to the Dodger game and got a big hot dog and holding a beer, and she had like half of a beer. And then she showed herself she did a video of her taking a bite of a donut. This was on her stories yesterday. And then this morning, I haven't watched them. Someone sent me them. She was talking about how she just couldn't understand why she couldn't sleep last night, and her whole body hurt. And she didn't understand why, but it's because of the things that she ate. And, so she's back on today.
That her body hurt and she couldn't sleep because she ate a hot dog and donut and beer.
Yeah, absolutely. That was today. This is the messaging that they give to their coaches every single day. The indoctrination is real.
And that's disordered eating. Okay. I wasn't expecting to be on the phone talking to you for over 2 hours, but this was fantastic. So I'm going to let you go now. I'm sure we both got things to do. So I'm going to let you go now. Thank you. I really can't thank you enough, Aimee, for volunteering your time and getting up and talking about your experiences. This was a lot. This was really eye-opening for me. I wasn't expecting a lot of the stuff that you told me. So just big, huge thank you. We all thank you. I thank you. The Lemonade Stand thanks you. And just thank you for coming on and talking and sharing.
Absolutely. And thank you for the things that you share, because it has been very eye-opening for me, especially from the workout perspective, to be like, why was I doing this stuff? Like, so the content that you share helps so much and the way that you do it, it's amazing. And not just on Beachbody. I felt for you on the Optavia, like,
oh God.
Oh man. All of these things that when you're in are normal and So it takes people standing up and saying, this isn't normal.
Yeah.
And hopefully we will continue to help people understand that.
So this was an interesting ride. I want to reiterate, this is not something that is exclusive to like health and wellness multi-level marketing companies. This environment is fostered in the health and wellness space in all of social media. This is an industry-wide issue, you guys. However, I believe that this issue is escalated when you roll in the obsessive and toxic positivity and cognitive dissonance that you see in these commercial cults, aka multi-level marketing companies. I just think that that makes it so much worse when regular but vulnerable people just want to up their fitness game and just eat more vegetables and drink more water and just learn to be a healthier human. They are susceptible to falling into this space, and it can be a perfect storm for them to develop an obsession with their fitness and with their eating habits, which can manifest into disordered eating patterns, full-blown eating disorders such as orthorexia, and it's just a mess. If you are in this world or know somebody in this world, please know that this behavior is not normal and not healthy. But you're also not alone. If you know someone that's stuck in this space, please be supportive, but also try and show them the way before it's too late. I want to offer another really big thank you here to our guest, Aimee. If you don't follow Aimee on social media, I highly recommend it. She shares her experience being in Beachbody, and she shares a lot of anti-MLM content specifically related to Beachbody and like the diet culture that it tends to foster. If in fact you made it to the end of this video, thank you so very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I know this was probably a tough one. And another big huge thank you to Aimee. We really appreciated you sharing your experience here on the channel, and we love you. And you're beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, or if you didn't enjoy it, I don't know why you wouldn't have enjoyed it, but I mean, you can hit the dislike button too if you want, that's fine. Follow me on Instagram, give Aimee a follow too. She shares really great content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hello friends, this is Editing Brianna popping in really quick to let you know that my camera overheated before I could get puppy footage. So instead, please enjoy this montage of Alpha's tongue sticking out. I know you love to see it. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!